Line's good. Yep.
Welcome here to beautiful Brooks, Alberta for the 7th annual Cactus Pheasant Classic. My name's Paul Webster. I'm sitting here with co-host Pete Stetsky. We're into the second end of this game. Welcome, Pete.
Paul, nice to be here.
This 7th year of this event, but really the first meaningful event now that you're in town, Pete.
Yeah, you really got to wonder what happened the first 6 years of this event that I didn't get the phone call to come out and broadcast. So we're going to constantly refer to this event as the inaugural event.
I like it. So first time we had some technical difficulties getting online, so I'd like to welcome you to this broadcast. Lots of rocks in play in the first end. Brewster / Murdoch's team. Dave Murdoch skipping this rink now, taking one, having to draw a full 4-foot for that point.
Yeah, he made a nice little in-turn shot. They almost wrecked on the guard, which would have cost them a steal too, but the sweepers were able to hold it and score their point.
Pete, what's your thoughts now that we're early in the second on this new Murdoch lineup? So David Murdoch brought in to bring to skip this team that Brewster had taken to the World Final 2 years in a row.
Yeah, it's interesting how they handle things. They're always different in European countries compared to what we're used to in Canada, but Brewster was millimeters away basically from beating Glenn Howard to win the World Championship a couple years ago, and then if memory is correct, he actually got sat last year in the World Championship. He got pulled for a crucial game, which I don't really fully understand.
It is interesting to watch. I mean, one of the comments we had heard is they took what was a silver medal team and turned it into a bronze medal team. Now, from the outside looking in, it's hard to say what was happening. But, most people argue that Murdoch is their best player in terms of shooter. So I think what they're trying to do is find that magical mix that will get them on the podium in Sochi.
Yeah, I think that's always the sort of the quandary that they run into in nations without as many curlers as we have in Canada is sometimes they have trouble finding a mixture of chemistry and they get trapped into building an all-star team, which has even less chemistry but better players. And I think what they're trying to do here is find a blend of both. I mean, Murdoch he's a two-time world champion. He's a great player. He's a good guy to bring on board, but you have to wonder if the chemistry will be there in time for Russia.
Mark Olson with his second shot of the game. Fairly open here.
This Pierce rink is a bit of a reunited situation. Is it Sean?
Geel.
We're going with Geel.
We're going to go with Geel today.
Apologies, Sean, if we're mispronouncing your name.
If it's Gail or Giel.
But, we were talking. Sean used to play with Brent. I've known Brent a long time. We used to work on the World Curling Tour board together, and he's back for a second go-around, and can sometimes be referred to as, you get a little lit up and you go to Taco Bell. You forget how bad it was the first time, so you go back again, but hopefully they have a better go-around this time.
It's like, give me a fucking headache, man. It's not fucking noise.
Little bit of squaring out on the ice there.
You know what's interesting is I didn't know if it was the same word in Scottish, and it is.
It turns out it is. You learn something new every day.
Absolutely. So there you go, David Murdoch, a little concerned maybe about the missed run back by his Olympic teammate. They have been named the Great Britain Olympic team, so they definitely have that Bonspiel in Russia in their sights. Sebastian Robillard with his first.
Former Ontario player, Sebastian. Never really had a ton of success in Ontario, probably due to a lack of talent, but I think he's been working on his game a little bit now and seems to have found a nice fit on Brent's team.
Totally different the years.
I think he moved out for work, as far as I know, from watching on Facebook and stuff, and found himself in one of the top teams now in BC.
Greg Drummond playing second stone today for filling in for Mr. Goodfellow.
Yeah, former third for Brewster, and now with Goodfellow, their normal lead. You'll see Michael Goodfellow only come in at the lead position, so when he's out, then they move down a position.
Sorry, guys.
I don't curl as much anymore, Paul, as I used to, but if you were playing that shot, would you have maybe tried to remove the red stone, or what would you have done?
Well, it's, strategy is it's got 2 pages, right, that strategy book, so there's, you always got to turn the page and see what. I got to apologize to the viewers out there, because this is going to happen a lot. This is the first broadcast I've
more than that.
Okay, we will put our professional hats on here. I was almost getting it together there with Pete's comments, and then David Murdoch has refreshed our memories of his knowledge of the one key word in the English language.
Yeah, someone needs to let him know he's wearing a microphone. This is, at our level, we normally don't have to deal with such filth. That it's only 11:30 in the morning out here, so.
Brent Pierce shooting here, and you'll love. Sorry, it's not Brent Pierce shooting, Sebastian Robler, but Sebastian and Brent together are some of the most interesting players on tour, and will provide some entertainment for you today.
Very animated, very animated. Brent, as many of you know, won a world championship back in 2000, playing third for Macaulay, who since retired from the game. I talked to Brent before the game, and Macaulay's been retired now, Greg, for 3 years or so, but Brent is very animated out on the ice.
Yeah, when we had to decide between games, and we knew that Brent Pierce was playing, there was no second guessing what game we wanted to listen to.
For those of you who don't know, Paul is also producer of the show and executive producer, but he was not in charge of the technical difficulties.
Or securing talent for the broadcast.
Yeah, that not everybody wants to claim responsibility for that.
So Tom Brewster with his first in the second end.
Well, you were in a little bit
Line's
different
good.
spot, though. Like you were in it closer.
Line's
to
good.
which I think would be, by
Trying to
right.
come around here, just tuck it around the corner guard. A slight miss by Sebastian allowed a little bit of an out for Team Great Britain.
Whoa.
Yep, pretty big miss there, staggering those guards.
You gotta try it.
Now they're not really necessarily usable, but they might have set up an angle to.
Firm.
Looks like they're going to play the run back here.
Yeah, Pete and I didn't get a great chance to watch the first end. We're in and out of the booth here. We're actually in the back room here, Brooks, watching the screens like you are at home. But we didn't get to see a lot of shots. You can see they're just getting used to the ice here in Brooks.
Sean!
Mark Shirk has came in for this event traditionally, and now the local guys are doing it, having spent some time with him the last 6 years, and they've done a great job so far.
Yeah, the ice looks great. It's up to speed for sure, and there's some nice curl in it. There's been nothing but compliments so far from the players, so hopefully that holds up for the whole weekend. We won't have as much insight into the other games being in the back room here, but we had to do it for security reasons. A lot of autograph requests and things like that. So.
That was Brent Pierce saying off. A little inside out on this one.
Probably a bad sweeping call. If they get on that, they might be able to tick off their own red and make it the fluke way. Or
what you're going to see with this ice, and what we have seen just watching quick game from the end of the last, is that with weight it will run straight, and it will finish late. The rocks have no doubt just been recently touched up, so they will curl at the end. But once those guys throw some bigger weight like Brent was doing there, they will stay a little straighter.
Another thing we will notice is when Brent misses, he tends to freak out.
Line's good. Yep. Hard.
Drummond Andrew on the sweep here, trying to get it around that guard.
Hard, boys.
If they can tuck even half an inch of it here, it's going to make it really tough on Team Pierce.
Whoa.
Looks like he came up just a little short there. It's going to allow Pierce maybe an opportunity to run his own red back because he's dislodged those two stones.
That was an unfortunate miss for Murdoch's team. They really had a couple opportunities. It's been miss after miss after miss in this, and no one's really wanted to put the pressure on.
Get over that.
Brent given a second opportunity at the run back here.
Saying that, it actually might end up okay. Sometimes a good thing that. So this could have played the run back stick.
Playing this with softer weight, Paul.
I think they want to bring the sweepers in. You'll see a lot of our top teams do that. I think they'd like them to stop sweeping. They've overswept this one. I think that might be 5 or 6 straight misses in this game, so someone needs to take control and put some pressure on.
It'd be time for us to go get our shoes and lap them back on there. 1995, was it, Paul?
1995 Ontario University champions.
Gold medalists.
Top of the podium.
Unfortunately, we failed the drug test after, as our blood alcohol level was 0.67.
Yes, well, I believe that was just you.
Well, what about Savage?
Yeah, and Brad Savage for sure.
going to go.
I think we've
That
got
was
to.
your first instinct.
Yeah, I think we've got to, Joe. Yeah. Well, that was for you two.
Interesting to see what Team Murdoch will come up with here. They could loop it right around the center,
I don't
or
think
they
we've got
could
any
choose
other
to play
option,
the guard
We
and
try to go in there,
guard
we
the
open it
hole.
up, it's horrible.
Looks like they're going to guard the hole.
They're easy now. Like, yeah.
So we're just getting sorted out here with angles and camera angles. They've done a phenomenal setup
Line's
here,
good.
Brooks. We're
Line's
trying to get
good.
the software working for us.
And you probably should miss it.
Yeah!
They're probably stealing too.
Chosen to guard the hole here, probably the less aggressive of the two options.
Gotta be careful not to overlap
I think
these.
so. Then you shoot. You can get shot
If,
right here.
if
You shoot your next one or
Pierce
something, right?
either makes the draw or the run
good
back,
call,
they've
Brent.
Like I said, we got to do.
they have a good
Let's
chance
go.
of scoring two
Atta boy.
here.
Well, when I drew the can,
Yeah, even if they make
I
this
was
come
here, right?
around, if they can get it, looks like
good.
there's enough
It's
curl.
a
They
nice
might
call
be able
from
to get
Greg.
it in
was
there
nice.
for
I was just kind
shot
of waiting
rock.
on it come, eh?
Well, they said 3 to start with.
They're going to always have an opportunity at
Is
a
it?
run through for a multiple score here.
on,
That was.
and, like,
I'm
I
not
put
so
it last
sure if
from
I
Bob,
was Team Murdoch, I wouldn't have got more aggressive and just
That was the thing about
gone
that
in.
second
But
one,
sometimes your
you
best
always
defense is a good offense.
Aye,
A wee
halfway.
bit further
I
up.
did, aye,
That's
you're right.
what-
It
Hate to
didn't track the
lose
same,
use
did it?
cliches. I'd rather make up my own
It
stuff.
didn't
But,
track the same.
Yeah, you definitely stole that one. Yeah, I think that's a Linda Moore.
yeah, I don't like ever to be compared to Linda,
Yeah,
although
just gotta be careful getting
her
in somewhere.
free guard
I'll
zone
leave them
technique
that for-
or
feel it.
control
Control
zone.
zone,
The
yes.
control zone, very important.
It has taken off in curling.
Unfortunately, her hairstyle has not.
Looks firm, man.
And Sean Geel with his first outturn draw. Try to get into the top 4 foot, and he is just that much heavy on this ice. That much being 6 feet.
That's a costly miss there. Even if that rock stopped short in front of it, it'd be usable
Gotta
for their
watch 'cause
next
he's gonna
one.
play
But
the run for really good, you know.
I don't think there's any choice here but throw the
I'm not
outturn
really going to
cover
get
out.
worried though, Tom. I'm worried we sit top 8 and we just leave him the crack double for 3. Like, I don't mind that. That's a force. Like,
Even here.
yeah.
I totally understand what you're saying. Especially this
Three's in play here a little bit. They're a little concerned about where to put this rock because of the run back on the left-hand side of your screen right now. As Murdoch called it, a crack double or a crack run back, meaning just pretty simple for these guys.
I don't know if it feels like 15 on the outside there.
Nothing's looked overly simple in this end so far.
Yeah, they've made it look tough.
Did a wee bit. Oh, I touched this.
So it looks like they're going out turn right
I'd really
around.
like to be like sweep for T line, and then there's no double, like, you know. If we sit a hair above it, yeah.
They're trying to put it right beside that yellow or
Sweep
slight
for
bit
like
above it.
T line, like if we're here above T, like just a stone above T.
You find sometimes, Paul, I mean, you do a lot of coaching at the highest level, that sometimes teams, they almost give the other team too much credit sometimes, and they get a little too careful on where to put stones, and this might be a situation of that, because I think if they were able to sink this one in around to the full 8 buried, you'd probably put the maximum pressure on Pierce.
You do. I think what the concern became was that little biter at the back. So, I think they would have been okay putting pressure on if they're only looking at deuce. Giving up, but that little biter on the back brings a 3-ball into play here. Let's see how these boys judge this here.
This one, a lot of pressure on the sweepers here to put this in the right spot.
So trying to get this just in line with that other yellow. And just a stone above, as Dave Murdoch asked for. Set up the crack run back, as he might have called it.
I really don't understand putting the rock right there.
The angles might not be too good from the 45 on the left, but I think they might try it. Last rock coming up here in the second end. Team Murdoch versus Team Pierce. Currently 1-0 Murdoch. Pierce has hammer. And they're opting for the draw.
You're perfect anyway.
Yeah, I guess they're afraid if they ever did miss badly.
wasn't there,
I
no.
mean, pretty hard to give up a steal of 2 at their level, but if they did, 3-0's not a good hole to try to climb your way out of, especially when you're not making many shots.
So true. So true.
Brent, if you're listening, I'm just joking, trying to build our viewership up.
For me, you might know make one, but you're getting rid of one, and you might take 3.
T-line! T-line, guys!
He's actually he is good with this team.
Sebastian Robillard, Mark Olson on the sweep, trying to get full button for
Hard
1
line.
point here to finish off the second end.
Hard line!
This rock's starting to curl. We're going to have to work hard on this for line.
Whoa. Good see, guys.
Nice shot.
Phenomenal shot to finish the end. Tied 1-1 after 2 here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic in Brooks, Alberta. If your city smells nice, you should come here.
Went a wee bit further than I thought, but I don't think
Oh, I know. Aye. Well, see how you pass that run on, like, he's back for that.
A little bit funny, right?
you were perfect. You were second shot.
It's amazing how far you can take it in that straight.
It's Pete's first stop at this event, but this is the 7th year, and I think this is the 7th year I've been here. And it's a really great example of a community really embracing an event and creating it on its own. They're about a 2-hour drive from the Calgary airport. And, Brooks has decided unto themselves they want to host a premier event on tour. I think the purse is somewhere around $80,000, and it's all community funded with Cactus Pheasant being the leading sponsor. But I think every business in town, it seems, has donated something to this event, and the players love it.
Yeah, I've talked to a lot of the guys over the years, and continually they'll say this is the best, the premier event on the World Curling Tour. And a lot of it is not only, you start an event, they brought in Mark Shirk to do the ice, which shows you the commitment they have to making great ice. The sponsorship is off the charts. And then the volunteers, the number of volunteers, as you know, Paul, that it takes to run an event of this caliber. But it seems like the whole city has chipped in.
100%. It's interesting. They brought in Mark Shirk to start, and now their local guys have gotten that education. They bought a new set of rocks, I think, after the first year. Or second year to just make sure the ice conditions, because the money is the one thing. The one thing the players want is that premier ice condition, so they know what to expect.
Yeah, especially the top teams are so used to now through playing the CCA events and the Grand Slams to have optimum ice conditions. It's no matter how much money you throw out there, they do want to not play in a parking lot. They want to play where they can make shots and display their talents.
You've done a fair bit of work in parking lots, Pete. Can you speak on that?
I can't speak on air about what I've done in parking lots, but from what I've seen so far here, I might have to keep most of the action in my hotel room.
So
Nice
intern
good.
come around here for Team Murdoch to start this third end.
Yep.
In response to the tight center.
Holy shit. Hard.
Holy S typically means I'm not overly pleased with the line or the weight.
That is a fairly significant miss in the world of curling these days.
You got to be fair though. Like if he throws that 15 feet heavier, it's close to where it needed to be. Paul.
I'm back.
Big opportunity here now for Team Pierce to get in behind these staggered guards.
Heard a great interview with Ben Hebert and Mark Kennedy on CCA website, and they're talking about the importance of lead rocks. And Ben made a comment, he totally understands that he can't win a game or win an end himself, but he can totally lose an end. And he was speaking about an end where he did just that, gave up a couple points.
Yeah, one thing I love, I saw that interview, one thing you're going to get out of Benny, and I thought Mark did a great job as well, but Benny is a very funny guy, but he's also, he's pretty honest. A lot of guys think Benny's maybe over the top cocky. He does it very much with a great sense of humor. He does not take himself too seriously. He obviously wants to win, but it's a great point. Like, no one ever really notices when a lead plays great, but a lead can really stand out for some misses like we've had so far on this end.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back misses by the leads here, and it's really changing the focus of the end for both teams so far.
It's good. Whoa, gonna clear. It's gonna clear. Got nothing. Got
So
nothing.
Scott
got
Andrew
nothing.
upping the weight on this one.
That's a good try, Scotty. That's actually all right.
And would you look at that? Look at those
Wow.
4 stones.
So that's a good try. I'm going to start curling for Murdoch again. I won't feel so bad about my own misses.
Well, Murdoch may be taking a little ownership there, just not knowing where to put the brush on that shot. So, we'll give the benefit of the doubt to Scott on that he threw it okay.
His weight seemed to be good.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's interesting. Sebastian, I always knew him as a back-end player when he was in Ontario. He had a real good run in junior. It's interesting to see him playing second now and sweeping.
Going for the out-turn draw, waiting for the curl here. Looking for the second made shot of this end.
Just short. Just short. Just short. Just short. Whoa, whoa, Mark. Whoa, 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 whoa.
So they're hanging wide, so they're going to go for plan B here. Just leave it up top.
It's a usable shot there. Like, that's way better than sliding that one in behind the tee. So. It is interesting. You wonder how, like, looking at the makeup of the game right now, how you get 5 rocks in the position that these stones are in, based on how the end started. But that's how curling goes sometimes. It ebbs and flows.
Murdoch with hammer asking Greg Drummond to start the cleanup effort here. Out turn run back, trying to get both those reds going.
These are shots now that at the level these guys are playing at, these have to be made pretty much automatic. Wow.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is tough to do. And the boys finding some enjoyment in that too, because they could not do that again.
No, there's no chance you could do that again.
You talk about the runbacks, and I spend a lot of time with Rick Lang now when we go to the World Championships, and he says just the same. Like, they're extremely happy to get a piece.
Oh, back in the day.
And now, the top teams are getting mad when they don't nut them and stick right where they want to in the rings.
Yeah, like I've seen Kevin Cooey's probably one of the top examples. When he's playing a run back, he's not only trying to stick it, but he's trying to hit it at the proper angle so he can bury it in behind a corner or a center. Like it's almost like a come around for him, only with peel using another stone. It's pretty incredible.
Sebastian just a little heavy on that one, tapping it into the open, I think.
Yeah, he probably hoped for a little bit better than that, having just thrown down that path. There's a good opportunity here for Scotland to maybe get one in here buried. Finally steal some momentum in this end.
Time for some sort of roll.
Hard! Hard, guys!
I think he's going to get a roll, but it's going to be a little too large.
Christ.
A little blasphemy out on the ice there.
David Murdoch expressing
Fucking hell,
his,
man.
is
That's
still
eyesight.
expressing his frustration with the ice reading. And
Good throw, Greg.
I think in the future we're going to find
Oh, jeez. That's scary to watch. Like.
be a 1 beer fine
You were
for every
eyesight.
swearing violation out on the ice.
might be on behalf of the Cactus Pheasant Classic here in Brooks, Alberta. We do apologize for the language that some of the Scottish players are using.
You won't. You'll never get it out of a couple professional Bonspiel broadcasters like ourselves.
No, not especially not in the late draw tonight.
Late draw, there might be the odd slip up, but that'll be due to technical difficulties.
Pete understands that I do have some jobs in curling, and I've just let him know if he does go off the deep end, I will just be walking away from the microphone.
It will not be the first time that's happened. Perfectly comfortable being with myself like I was in my room last night.
Brent Pierce is first of this third end.
Whoa!
Trying to figure out this ice condition, both teams struggling.
They played this path a few times.
Brent would like them to stop sweeping. Just straightening up there a little bit there at the end.
It's got to be a little frustrating for Brent because, let's be honest, he was dead right. There's no reason to sweep that stone. Pretty good shot.
Just for the viewers at home, the only people we have mics on right now are the two skips, so Brent Pierce and David Murdoch. So we don't get to hear what was happening in the house there, what the front end was doing. So we can only infer that they were wanting to do that on their own.
Sebastian Robillard actually asked to be mic'd, but we prefer in our broadcast to have people who speak factually. So his request was denied. Wow.
Yeah, they're looking for the double peel on that one. They might have got lucky with the one in the house. But the option thrown out by Team Murdoch. And just a little, again, another one that ran straight on them.
One thing we haven't touched on yet, Brent Pierce, former third stone for Greg McCauley. His sweeping technique, do we want to talk about that? Or?
Well, we haven't seen too much of it. I know you're making comments about it during the pre-game practice. It's pretty, I didn't really see it, Pete, but it's pretty technical.
There's a lot of wristy forearm action. I'm not going to compare it to what you could obviously compare it to, but it does look like he's longing to maybe shake something longer than what he's owning himself, because it's not overly effective.
So going for the out-turned guard here. Same line, same path he was just on, just a little lighter. And Brent Pierce with 2 back-to-back makes.
Shot maker, that's where they hired this guy. Pierce, we'll have to get into it sometime in the broadcast here over the weekend, but a die-hard Boston Red Sox fan, part of Red Sox Nation, fear the beard.
And less than half.
I think when Brent looks in the mirror, he's got a little more of the fear than the beard. Wouldn't you say, Paul?
Oh, quite possibly, yes. He's must be happy after the game they threw up. Tommy Brewster with the out-turn run back / possible double peel. You'll see them call the audible, making sure they get one of those. Double peel. Nice shot by Tom Brewster.
Yeah, Tom's a very solid thrower of the up weight. He before we got on live here in the first end, they were in a lot of trouble, and he actually he ran a triple, which helped salvage the end for Scotland. Interesting choice here, Paul. They're choosing, it looks like, to throw the guard, when really your best option to probably force them to one would be to maybe go around that corner guard.
It's interesting here. They could totally do that right now and just get hammer back, but they're looking for, I guess, a little more pressure. The key thing here with it running straight in this path is the, once they figure it out, the doubles and run backs are going to get fairly routine for these guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Just for a tight guard here.
Yeah.
I don't think Murdoch will think twice, but we'll be looking
Aye.
Gotta be in.
You know what I mean? It's a different end.
It's old school, eh?
Oh, big style.
Really need this rock to stop.
Right on.
Wow.
Wow, and so that was supposed to be a tight guard. Just slipped into the rings.
Do you think there's a double there, Paul?
Yeah.
If I was a betting man, I'd say yes. I was not the best math major, so the physics and the angles involved in this are a little beyond me. But the fact that they're within 3 feet and slightly above each other, I'd say, yeah, absolutely, Pete. Double in the making.
We were asked to actually not mention betting and curling by our producer, Jerry Gertz, due to the ongoing Mike McEwen scandal over his semifinal loss last year in the Winnipeg Tankard.
Out-turn, double takeout here for Dave Murdoch. Straight spot, got to be careful not to jump this one. You can just see it fading back.
Yeah, he faded that one a little for sure.
I think he's going to get just enough.
You got a keen eye there, Paul.
Just enough. Great shot by Dave Murdoch on a tricky piece of ice. Has given 5 or 6 of the other players on the ice a little trouble. It's great seeing the guys enjoy it, because they want to be shooting 80-90% right now, and they're struggling a little bit with where to put the broom, but also how to throw it.
Try not to give it anything. I'm going to do it.
Good release.
I'm not going to give it unless it's peel out.
I'd like to translate what he was saying there, but I don't really understand. Plus, he was aggressively attacking his pocket. Not sure what was happening there.
Actually getting quite cool.
I didn't notice that, actually.
Don't get me wrong, I'm happy if I make a double, but I don't know if I do that out on the ice.
Sean Gio with the out-turn hit, just trying to get a piece right now. Looks like there. And he did. Rolling out there. We know for sure that out-turn side, the right-hand side of the sheet is straight, so there might be the fact that the sheet is a little slanted or something. We'll see if they can figure it out.
A little tilted.
Because, we saw a lot of those in-turn draws the other way, almost over curl, so we'll see if that's a constant theme for the sheet.
Yeah, no.
A guaranteed make here for Davy Murdoch. They're going to throw the outturn heat down here just to see how it runs, but this will be a blank end in this third end.
Paul, I'm going to leave the broadcast in your hands for 1 second, and I will return very briefly.
Yeah, he's actually throwing the intern. You can see how much curl was on there, so that might be the case in that on sheet 4 here at the Brooks Ground Club. May have a little bit of a slant to the sheet. We'll pay attention to that. We'll listen into the players here and see if they have anything to say.
That's tracky, though. I don't know. I see your way. That's dead straight. Tracky. Just got to watch our paths.
Yeah, let's get the pass right.
Anything mid the 8 path, in and out that.
Well, David just talking about watching the pass, and that's really a team thing in this sport these days. With the ice that is a little tricky, they don't want to just let one guy decide that. They want to get all four players on the ice, trying to help with the ice reading and making sure if there's different sides to the ice, so a straight side and a curly side, that they realize how where to put the broom, but also how to release it as well. So Mark Olson starting off this fourth end for Team Pierce. Looking for the tight guard if they can, and looks like it might be slipping in the rings. Scott Andrews, in turn corner guard. The ice holds well. This might run a little straighter. This piece of ice looks great.
No. Still on the quick, but
While both leads struggling with their draw weight right now, just slipping into the rings. Even the sweepers there were a little concerned. You can see Murdoch's frustration with the boys not getting a handle on it. Pierce going to take no second thought and just hit that one, lie 2 in the rings.
Regular.
Outturn hit here for Mark Olson with his second shot in the fourth end. Both leads asked for guards. They slipped into the ring, so looks like we might have a fairly open end here again. Now decision time for Dave Murdoch.
Could throw a guard, but I mean, yeah, it's pretty early. But I mean, if you throw a guard, you already. Just keep going.
So Dave, I think on just realizing what's going on out there, he's going to try to keep it simple here and figure out the ice.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for the double takeout from
So far.
his lead, Scott Andrews.
yes.
Scott also playing second on this team, and Michael Goodfellow's in the lineup, so he can hit.
Hard.
Although there's no evidence of that on this shot.
Pete Stesky calling it like it is. Over curled on that intern double takeout to let Brent line one. I think you'll see Brent throw the center guard up now.
Still setting up for a fairly open end, like you said, Paul. Like they'll throw the center here, and I'd imagine Murdoch will probably try the run through. And if they're successful, we could be heading for a blank end attempt. You're obviously very active in the sport, Paul, as is your wife. She's off curling in, I believe, a Grand Slam event this weekend in Winnipeg.
Yeah, so ladies are off to the Winnipeg Grand Slam. They starts tomorrow, so you can watch all those scores at curlingzone.com or worldcurl.com. And see, there's it's an interesting event because there's also another Grand Slam a week later, pretty much starting a day and a half after Winnipeg. So some of our trials teams who are in that next Grand Slam have opted out of either this event or that one. So some difficult scheduling for everyone this year.
Yeah, it's always tough in the Olympic year to get things straight. It's just the season seems to be a lot more condensed than it would be in a normal year.
Out turn run back for Greg Drummond.
Just not quite sharp. Yeah, they seem to be missing on that high side with the out, and like you said, the in turn, we're getting some over curl away.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not sure when they're going to get it, but the one thing they need to figure out is how to bring the sweepers into it on the straighter ones, but also just how to release it properly when they know it's curling. So both teams, though, showing that the ice is equally as difficult for themselves.
They're in a lot of trouble if you and I are sitting in the booth and we get it and they don't, though.
Yeah.
It's solid point, Pete, but things are like they
Whoa,
are.
whoa, whoa, Mark.
It's just trying to figure out this is the first game for these guys at this club,
Frozen now.
so they'll try to get together. The interesting thing is seeing Sebastian like just with back-to-back misses like this. So he was slightly heavy on his first one and got it tight, and now he's just a little bit heavier. So that's when you got to get into the sort of team huddle and figure out how to make shots in this ice, because the sweepers are being taken right out of a lot of the draw shots.
Yeah, it's something, I've done quite a bit of club curling in the past few years, and that's one thing you notice at the club level is teams are always heavy on their draws. The sweepers have, not that they have much ability, but even if they had the opportunity, it's being taken away from them. But at this level, the ability of all the brushers, you certainly want to use them. That's what they're there for. But so far this game, they've taken them out of play.
Oh, nice throw, good.
So the out-turn double takeout where Greg Drummond was made, and got a great roll to the far side of the sheet.
Game plan out the window here. Game plan out the window here.
Looking like a blank end here. One rock in play in this fourth end. Brent Pierce with his first, a wide in-turn hit. We'll see how this in-turn runs, if it's anything similar to the out-turn path and going the opposite way.
It's just ripping it.
And it ran identical. So straight. Brent a little concerned that just want to roll that one out, not to leave any sort of corner guard. I think you'll see Murdoch try to use that with Brewster's first, and he's gonna.
Yeah, Brent tried to get them on that stone and see if they could roll his shooter away to get it out of play, but got on it just a hair too late.
We should have rolled it off, man. We should have rolled it off.
And he's letting his teammates know what he was yelling down there for.
Yeah, Brent's 100% correct, though. I mean, these teams, any chance they're going to get to try to generate 2 points, they're going to try to do it. It's going to be a fairly easy shot for them, even if they bury fully behind here, but it would have taken the risk out of play if they just rolled that one out of play.
Yeah, no matter where this rock ends up, the open hit would certainly be easier than where the shot's going to be based on the finish of this stone.
Looking like a great shot here by
Keep going,
Brewster.
keep going, go, 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 go! Right to it's going.
That's a very good shot.
What I love hearing is the go, 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 not the whoa, whoa, whoa. And so they finally brought those boys into it. Still a little bit open, but figuring out the ice, and Tom Brewster getting the sweepers involved, which gave him a chance to make that shot.
Much tougher shot now, too, than it was for the if it would have been a wide open hit, obviously. I think Brent might have been one of the first players to go to the crutch as a sliding tool.
Yeah, I think him and Gary Vandenberg sort of battled it out for the crutch supremacy back in the 90s and early 2000s. And but you do see a number of players using it now. Dave Nedwin, of course, being the... I'll be quiet here as they've waiting for the curl. I think they'll get a piece, just enough. And Brent Pierce right again.
Yeah, Davey uses it. John Morris still using the crutch, or is he switched?
Yeah, Johnny hasn't used it for a while. He had that one sort of with his broom, and he just uses the broom on the ice now.
Yeah.
But Dave Nedwin's still using it. Reed Carruthers on Team Stoughton playing second has an Ashram crutch that he uses.
Little shout out there for Ernie, one of the great pioneers of the game in the World Curling Tour, Arnold Asham.
And a mean dancing guy.
Oh yeah, he can.
The Asham Stompers.
He can tap those toes.
Right back, guys.
Tom Brewster called for the same shot here, trying to get this a little bit more buried. They're actually looking like it's a little bit more wide open. So Dave took a little bit less ice there. I think Tom was just a little lighter. They got to get on it early.
I think you're a lot different, really.
That should be.
I think so.
Lot.
Yeah.
Could be a slight difference
That's
in the
not too much,
stones
Sean.
as well. That one did run quite a bit straighter.
Yeah, 100%. Like a lot of these events now, when they know the big boys are coming to town, they'll
Yes.
paper the rocks ahead of the event, and sometimes they'll get a little quirks in the first two or three draws before the rocks settle down.
This is. You keep thinking it's going to curl, and it starts.
Wait, this track.
You've to actually wait and let it curl, because if you sweep it like just when it thinks about it, it almost kicks back. Like.
You can see great conversation between Brewster and Murdoch. They're just trying to figure out the ice, and there's no blame going around because they're all sort of befuddled by what's going on out there.
Yeah, they really expected that one to curl more, and it just, as we overheard them say, it just straightened out on the end. They didn't expect that.
They're trying to. They're Pierce's team looking to possibly get behind there, but they're going to go wide open now. Not surprising that one ran straight. It's sort of what we're seeing in that spot again.
Takes the play a little bit away from that corner guard now.
I like that.
Just throw it out of that, Thomas. I don't think it'll take off. I can't
Sen
see it doing a lot.
started out looking like it was going to be a blank end, and it looks like that's going to be the case.
Yeah, 100%. So here's Dave Murdoch being called for barrier weight, which is a Scottish term
Can't
for
see it
board
doing a
weight.
lot.
So again, just trying to bring the hit weight down a little bit to ensure the sweepers are brought into this. Just an open hit for him, so he could throw some heat, but knowing that he might have some trickier shots later on, trying to get again, just a better read of the ice.
Whoop. Whoa.
Boys being careful not to jump this on ice like this. If you do get it out of their hand, you can sort of drag it back. Murdoch looking like he's successfully removed this rock.
Yeah, good shot there by Dave.
Wait, it was okay. Yeah. Tell you what. See it wait.
Sweeping the wrong bit.
Oh my God! See it wait. You can almost flash that.
Sean will be looking just to make a hit and stay here, and hope to get a miss out of Murdoch on his blank attempt. I wouldn't hold my breath waiting for that.
Whoa.
Outturn hit here for Sean Gilles with his last rock in the fourth end. 1-1 tie between Team Murdoch, Team Pierce. Dave Murdoch being asked for the blank now and looking like we'll go into a 1-1 tie going into the fifth end.
I'm not convinced we're pronouncing his name properly, so I'm going to go with Sean, or fourth thrower for Team Pierce.
I like it. Just good old Sean.
Just cover the bases, you know?
Yeah.
You can see they dramatically tighten up the ice here for the outturn peel for Dave.
So David saying what we were all thinking. It's outturn peel turned into an outturn take of one. Nose hit. Just still trying to work with the ice here. So 2-1 going into the fifth end for Team Murdoch, and Pierce has gotten hammered.
I think we should continue to speak right now so we can cover up the profanity-laced tirade that's going on in the back there. He must have really come over the top there to get that outturn to curl in that spot with that amount of weight.
I'd have to agree with you, Pete. So Murdoch, trying the first shot, he threw his board weight one definitely a little better than that one. Just needed to chuck some heat, get anywhere from 7/8 to just a piece of that one. He would have got the blank, but I think they'll take, in this type of game, they'll take the lead and try to figure out the ice.
Yeah, it's better than fanning it. It's not an expected miss out of Dave. I mean, at the level he's played at for the number of years, and that's sort of bread and butter for him to whip one down there. He must have just got it started. They've now abandoned to go to one sweeper. To be honest, probably not a whole lot different because they're missing Sebastian, and he more or less just gets in the way.
This is actually Team Murdoch sweeping right now, Pete.
And I've been corrected properly by my co-host. my point still stands.
So a successful tight center guard by Team Murdoch. We'll listen into Murdoch here.
Sorry, guys.
That's definitely straight.
That's no nice. Looks like it runs like.
Great comment by Dave there. You know, they're trying to be nice, you know, run straight there, and he's like, it wasn't the ice.
Yeah.
And you see a lot of our top players just do that, is take ownership over when they make mistakes. Wasn't a awful mistake on their part. They did get a point of it, but they would teams at this level just love in those tie games just keeping hammered in their hands as much as possible.
That's a big part of the game now, where because it's played at a much higher level of skill, and the Four Rock rules brought that in, you really do have to be accountable for your misses, because teams, you know, they'll react to how you react rocks in a certain spot. And if you got to be honest, if you've thrown a bad one, so your skip can then funnel that information into their tank and use it later in the game. You can't constantly be making excuses for your misses.
No, 100%. I think that's when you see some of our top teams. That's when they, you know, you can still get along the ice when people are stepping up and taking accountability for what's going on there. And sometimes it's the skip's fault where he puts the brush, and other times it's the thrower's fault. So it's always refreshing when you're out there and people are just taking their side of the miss and owning it.
Hard line, guys.
You're gonna have to work hard to get this one by the center guard here.
Hard. Keep going.
Well brushed.
Okay. Stop.
A full come around.
Yeah, this ends off to quite a good start. We've got a center guard, a corner guard, and now a decent. Yeah, they would have liked that a little deeper, but still, they got to buy the guard in a nice spot.
That's a 4 out of 4 from what we've seen so far. They're really struggling. So just to the fact they're able to skinny the guard and get it in the front of the house, they'll be happy right now.
You're a tough scorer. I give that a 4.5 based on what we've seen so far.
Mark Olson with his last here in the fifth end, being asked for the intern come around. Going to use those staggered Murdoch rocks to try to get behind and set up an end to their own. Oh, we got a balk.
A little bit of a balk. Looks like he asked for maybe a little more ice. Looks like they widened out the broom a little bit there. We've seen this spot, Paul, that should have no trouble curling, I don't think.
I don't think so. The ice might just settle in too. I was surprised to see how much curl we had with that outturn there on the other side. So we'll have to watch those pass, and you'll hear the players will be talking about those pass as well. So finish here.
Whoa, Stevie, whoa, Stevie. I want to be behind the key line. No.
It's a good shot. Probably a rock or two deeper than they wanted, but still a pretty good shot.
Yeah, just a really good example of the ice conditions. Had you thrown that 3-4 feet, even 5 feet lighter, and brought the sweepers into it, we would have saw a rock that was fully buried, sort of top 4 foot. But that was a T-line all on its own and just keeps a little straighter. So easy call here for Murdoch. Looking for the Steeler force here. We'll just call the intern draw right on top of that.
Line's good. Yep.
So we just saw this one. Just got a good idea of the speed, so this should be a fairly easy shot to recreate for the Scottish boys.
Go. Keep going, guys. Real hard.
Wow, he actually just rubbed off the second rock there, Paul. Probably just the difference in the weight.
100%.
Interesting to see how aggressive Brent wants to get here.
Looks like seen that spot. We just seen it, backline weight here. If you throw it properly, you should be able to get the flop and the roll and set too.
Yeah, and that's what he's called for Sebastian to throw. Key to this shot is weight control, obviously.
Ottawa native Sebastian Robillard.
Clean. Back line.
Brent,
Another
describing
F-bomb.
his distaste. Yes. Here it comes, though. It's still getting enough.
Yeah, you know what? That's not an awful result at all. He would have liked to make the roll underneath, but he was actually pretty close to making that shot.
Oh, I didn't know what you were doing. I'm like, what the hell? You don't like the ice?
No, I was ready to go. Brent has that 4 feet.
Say something to him?
You like me jumping down?
Did you say something?
See Sebastian, the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, hands on hips, a little frustration in his body language there. Greg Drummond being asked for the hit and roll with the double as the option, the back.
You really see now more and more guys are playing on ice the curls quite a bit. They've got that full release, not quite a pop, but certainly a positive release out towards the broom, and they probably straighten that one out a little too much there, I think.
It's one of those spots, like we keep talking about the weight, like it will run with weight, so I think the guys have to be really careful, when they see that T-line, they can throw a little positive, as you're describing, and almost just a normal release when you throw the normal weight there.
See, when I go, I was like, perfect, and yeah, just lasered like. There's just no, it's just so tracky, man. You threw that sweet. Absolutely
Good
sweet.
commentary there by Dave, reaffirming to his player. He thought he threw a great stone. It just didn't react the way they wanted it to.
Yeah.
Big opportunity here now for Pierce if Sebastian can make a little out-turn hit and flop behind the guard, although he seems to have got this one out a little wide.
We do know that it will run straighter with weight.
Going with the audible.
I like it, skinning the guard.
It's a good plan B there, called by Brent in the house. Good result. Key shot here now.
Yeah, and we just know this piece of ice. That's a scary thing for Team Pierce. That we've seen this draw, and if Murdoch knows how to put the brush here, this is a fairly routine shot for these guys. And then Pierce is going to have a hard time scoring too.
Yeah, the yellow guards he's actually drawing around. The top one's not in play. I mean, if he was to rub on that, he was going to miss by a lot. And they've thrown this shot twice themselves, so I'd expect this should be fairly close for a player of Tom's caliber.
All right, guys.
Although they're working hard early here.
Hard line.
Kind of what we talked about. Right? We want to see those horses being brought into this game, especially with the ice.
Keep going, guys. Still good.
I'm not sure end to end is ideal.
Come on. Go, 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 go. Great and sweeping, guys.
Phenomenal sweep by the boys there. I think they're sitting second shot, which is key here.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. That's they dragged it just far enough, so they're second.
Gotta go try and get there, eh? Yeah, gotta try.
I mentioned Team Murdoch. The 5 players have been named as the Great Britain curling or men's curling team for the 2014 games in Sochi. They are a fully funded team,
just
so
one of those.
each player being paid to curl, and so they don't work full time. I'm the curling director at the Glencoe Club in Calgary. We've had those boys for a couple days in Calgary practicing, and they're on the ice for 4 or 5 hours a day getting ready for this event.
No. Yeah, they're paid to curl, and yet here we are doing this stuff for free right now, Paul. We need better agents, I think.
You know what? I think we're just where we need to be, Pete. I've seen your game, I've seen my game, and the fact that we're still involved at the highest level somehow is
commentating, buddy.
Slightly amazing.
I'm not getting asked I'm not asking to get paid to throw stones here.
Set it in the corner of it. You're not. And then you've got something with your neck.
Piercy attacked that one from a little bit of a different angle there, a little side slide there.
I think he felt he was a little bit tight, so got the rock out to the broom that last. So you might see this run a little straighter than the rest of them.
He's a very crafty veteran.
Crafty is right. So, like we were saying, just that little in-out motion at the end, trying to get back to the broom, just
anything the yellow is good.
A little straight.
He's not loving the result there.
Missed opportunity there for Brent, and again, a really good opportunity for Davey Murdoch here to put some pressure on Brewster lining up the double, or they can just go for the force here with the guard.
Oh, you're not hitting the yellow. You're hitting the yellow at a third. You pretty much
Remember
jump.
the normal I had up here early on?
Like Greg's didn't go crazy there. Like.
So you just want normal?
3/4.
Now you're involved with our Olympic process, Paul, and
we obviously,
as our viewers know, we have the Curling Roar to the Rings, huge competition, probably the biggest competition in curling every 4 years to select our men's and ladies representative for the Olympics. How many of the countries just choose the team that they're going to send, like Great Britain's done? I believe Sweden does that.
Yeah, I would say that probably, I know Switzerland has a points process, so you can play off there, and Canada, of course. US still has the trials, but I would say probably of the 10 teams that will be there, you're going to find probably, I would say at least 7 of them are going to be handpicked teams, and that's kind of what they need to be doing these days. And We have 36 teams right now in Canada, 18 men's, 18 women's, that have the opportunity to represent Canada in Sochi. And so part of that is our development process, and part of that just speaks of the depth that we have.
Wow.
So the call there was an intern double for Tom Brewster, and he just got wide on the rock. They saw that one. The unfortunate part is they saw that with Greg Drummond's, and they knew it ran laser straight. So that was just a bad throw by Tom there.
Yeah, that's pretty shocking to miss by that much, with that much weight at this level. But
Tommy stealing Sebastian's hands on hips. Frustration in body language there.
Brent's going to come down and discuss their options here with Sean.
See if we can listen into Brent here.
I taught myself out a wee bit because I was thinking about it. It didn't look a lot of ice.
But for pure weight, Tom, it's not going to move. You've seen the way that one. I mean, I know it was back, but geez, it doesn't curl there at weight. He slid well.
Brent's mic might not be working as well. All we're hearing right now is Team Murdoch.
He can't make that double.
It's very unusual that Brent's not talking, but I believe he's not.
Not too many times we were going to say this, but we're actually going to try to turn the volume up on Brent Pierce.
Actually got a wee TV down bumper, no? It's the one at the top of the floor that's...
They're trying to walk through their options here. It might just be the fact that Brent has his mic covered up a bit. We've got our crack production staff of 10 working on this right now. There we go. We heard a little bit there.
It's a very interesting situation here because they don't want to just leave that yellow rock exposed where it can be promoted by Team Murdoch. So
No budget.
an aggressive call would be to go over and play on the
That's
inside.
what I mean, like Gregland, like his first one, I don't know whether it grabbed something and took off that time. Because his second one does nothing. Usually nothing there. It's a funny little spot. Like.
So tricky spot. Here, Brent sounds from what he's saying, just going for the guard.
It's going to be guard. It's probably going to be guard. Take a point. And then if flash easy steals. What's that? Well, that red's open right now, but I can't throw it right now.
Like, you watch.
And raising it in just leaves him a pocket more than likely.
Oh, yeah.
So Brent going through his options, just concerned about if they do remove that yellow, that they leave an easier freeze for Murdoch to actually try to steal one. So I think he's pretty happy here just to take one with the angles that he's calculated.
Yeah, more aggressive shot would be to play a little bit of a slash on the intern side, but you're bringing a lot of risk into play. At the end of the day, if you can score a point here in the odd end, you tie the game up, maybe try to make something happen. And
Get it there!
Six.
Gotta get it there! It's gotta be tight!
Come on, top.
Come on, you guys! Jesus Christ!
Brent's mic is definitely now on.
Yeah, it's definitely working. He's not pleased with the result of his shot.
His concern lies in the fact, not the placement, it got tight, to the fact that it's now tucked slightly behind there, so it takes that rocket of play for him to use. So it definitely guarded the yellow one, but he can't use that shooter anymore, so still a little frustrated with the options that have taken out of play because of that slight miss.
I think we've got nothing else.
You can't beat him into throwing it.
Yes. Oh. Mistakes we make.
Yeah.
Third, that's like you said.
It's interesting, though. I mean, that one, if he's calling for additional sweeping, he's going to bury the rock even more. I think you got to be a little accountable there and maybe just take a hair more ice. I mean, there's no reason for them to, if they want to use that rock later, to get it that close to the yellow stone in the first place.
Oh, 100%. That could have been 6 inches more to the right, like you said, and still do the job.
6 inches can make a huge difference.
Another shot, eh?
Been on the wrong
He's
end of that a
confusing
few
me.
times.
I'm like, it's my shot, and he goes, no, it's mine. I was like, okay. Yeah. Giants ain't much slower out here, like.
I guess I should have really pointed out that it's fine, you know.
This is as wide as we've gone out for the
He's
insert
good.
and draw here. If anything, I've found in my experience, sometimes the further you go out, the more it'll come back. Sometimes you get a little bit of that dish effect. So they shouldn't have any problem curling up to the line the way they want it to. It's a nice card.
Dave Murdoch making it look easier than it has been this game.
Well, it's in plain
Just going for the force here in a 2-1 game in the fifth end.
No, it's not a big
You're just tuning in. Both teams, as you listen in, are been struggling a little bit with the ice.
I don't know. There's not a lot else we can
Yeah, it's
play
interesting.
there.
A lot of times when you come to the spiel of this magnitude, being a top team like Murdoch or Pierce, you might find yourself in an easier first-round matchup. But the way the cards fell, they found each other in the first round, so they don't necessarily have the luxury of a softer game to try to figure out what the ice is doing. They've got to battle through it while playing a pretty quality opponent.
Yeah, good point. We didn't. On the flip side of that, we saw Team Cooey playing one of the local teams here in Brooks, and I think they came out on an 8 or 10-2 opening game. But again, just a really good game. Not a lot of pressure, but you can get the feel of the ice and figure out how to make shots here for the rest of the weekend.
Hard to believe you could win that much, by that much, with Nolan throwing lead stones, but
smoke and mirrors. It's like a great shot here by Sean.
you're now going with Sean too. We're not
Just
going.
Sean.
Yeah, that boy.
Yeah, really good shot.
Great shot. Really well swept. Good team shot there. Puts a lot of pressure on Murdoch here to make the freeze. Tap back.
It's a freeze bump, Tommy. You see that?
I just gave you the
That's it. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
Or push it far enough.
Yeah.
But see where that's finished.
Yeah, I mean, well, we can pummel it.
I don't know if we'd be able to pull it, would we?
This will be interesting here because Dave just
like-
threw the guard in
it's
this
just
spot,
see
but
wait,
obviously he's
like,
got to throw another 15
You'll get a
feet.
call for line and we can bump it back.
Based
in
on
here
what
and
we've seen so
okay.
far, his
Yeah,
rock
yeah,
should
no,
react
yeah.
quite a bit differently.
I'm just,
See if
to be honest,
he
I just want to throw
adjusts the
freeze away
broom
and
accordingly.
let you just
They're
sweep
gonna
it
make
on.
equipment and hope we can't run something back, right?
Exactly, yeah. If we missed, good argument. There's an opportunity for us to get that yellow moving, like getting them to move.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he makes. I don't know.
Whoa!
Dave Murdoch's last stone here in the fifth end, looking to follow Sean Gale into the 4-foot. Saw this one 2 seconds ago, trying to recreate it. And for just a freeze bump, as he was calling it. And just a little heavy. Again, one of those shots where the sweepers were not brought into play. And gives Sean the option with his last one to play the same one, try to get 3-under here. And then we're a few rocks ago, we didn't think a 3-under was going to be scored.
That's a pretty big miss there. I mean, again, we're sitting back here. It's easier for us. It's always easier behind the glass, but
fucking nothing.
they're not adjusting to what's happening on the ice
only took
out
2
there in
inches more
terms
ice.
of the weight. He's saying he only took 2
I thought
inches
it was
more
more
ice,
just-
but he probably
more
needed
just a
less
full
because
weight.
he's adding 15 feet to his stone. So unfortunate result there for Dave.
So opportunity here for Sean Gale with his last rock. Trying to score. They had a elusive 3-under.
So far,
Not
we've
the
had
greatest sign when you see the
got
sweepers
bites,
hanging out, fully standing up, watching go. They need to get that curl in. Based on their body language, I would say this was missed. So letting David Murdoch off the hook. 2 points here for Team Pierce. We'll take a 3-2 lead going into the sixth end.
Good force, guys.
3 feet less weight, what the? Just full weight is exact weight. Like.
I think I heard good force.
I think it's just too
Yeah.
Good force. Forced him to
Somewhere
2.
there. Forced them to 2.
Well done.
Aha!
Corner.
Got you.
Oh, aye. It's probably easier coming down here, isn't it?
Listen to Murdoch here and see what they're thinking.
Please don't swear, Dave. I think he just spotted a pretty hot chick up in the crowd. And
He might have, yeah.
I think that's what's going on there.
Dave Murdoch with
I might have to,
$1,250 in fines this game so far.
I might have to leave the booth and go see what they were looking at there, just for research sake, Paul. You being happily married to a knockout young lady, you're in good shape, but I'm fairly single right now.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a later broadcast tonight about how that happened.
Yeah, that's when I walk away.
Very low self-esteem, obviously, for Crystal, but please feel free, viewers, to send in any questions, comments to at curling. Is that a
Underscore?
Underscore coach. That's for Paul or myself at XL Purple Sweater. Probably the more you carve us, the better chance you have of getting made fun of on TV or in this broadcast. And we always appreciate any questions or comments. Mike Hannafin just made a great point from his Twitter account about how awesome this broadcast has been. Mike is obviously right on top of things. He knows how to rate a broadcast.
It's funny, Pete was saying that before we even started. Again, low self-esteem for Pete Stetsky, if you know him.
Yeah, you know, I've gone through some tough times, Paul. It's not something the viewers need to really be informed on.
Outturn top forfeit called for the first one for Pierce. Just a little light, but again, getting the sweepers involved, which is great to see. And Murdoch going right at it now with the corner guard.
Yeah, you were, Paul. Like this summer, I've had both bed bugs and shingles within 3 weeks of one another.
That's done scarily fast.
Quite alarming, but at the same time, these phone calls
What
I was
have I
getting
got?
from young ladies thinking I gave them something, it turns out it was fine.
Aye. Yeah.
They wondered why penicillin wasn't working. Well, you can't really cure shingles with that, so we'll just move on back to the game here. But
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
always
So,
feel free to consult a physician.
It's funny, I checked with Jerry Gertz of curlingzone.com, the World Curling Tour, of the fact that the broadcast at home is actually 60 seconds delayed. I'm like, that's fantastic, so I can...
Think about what you could
Phase
do
Pete
in
out.
60 seconds with Crystal.
And he's like, no, you can't bleep him out. So
Now we're
Pete
live,
Stetsky's
folks.
live, and
I apologize in advance for anyone who's not used to our broadcasting.
Line's
And by
good.
I mean my broadcasting
Pete's
techniques.
thoughts and comments
good.
and opinions are those of his own.
Whoa, get it in.
I lost my filter at a very
Whoa,
young
we can a
age.
bit. Let her finish a bit. Let her finish. Let her finish, guys.
Nice little intern tap here for Team Pierce.
Game on.
Do you think Brent will try to force like Murdoch did last end and hold Murdoch to 2 this end, or what are they going to try to
He
do?
might be looking for the force of 2, yeah. It's interesting. You know, Brent with the call into the rings is you're going to try. You love a blank here and get hammered. This is just 8 end games of this event, so having the 1 point advantage going into 6, if you could ever blank this, giving him theoretical hammer in 8 would be great.
Hard, guys!
Looking for the intern freeze on this one.
Real hard! Keep going, keep going, keep going! Keep going, guys. Keep going, keep
And just squeak the guard. Great shot by Team
Scott.
Murdoch.
Plays really started to pick up the last couple of ends here. I'm not going to say it's about time, but it might be.
Does go in there,
Does go in there. I'm going to defer comment on that. We'll comment on that on a Curling After Dark episode.
Curling After Dark with Pete's trademark
Up, up!
telecasts after a certain number of... You'd think it just has to do with hours, but it's actually consumption-based. Intern board weight hit here for Sebastian Robillard. Looks like he's done exactly that.
Yeah, very good shot there by Sebastian. I'd like to give a little shout out to contributors Ryan Fry and Heath McCormick for their comments. Good luck, Ryan, this weekend in Gatineau. And Heater, I'm not sure if you're playing, but congratulations on last weekend and your runner-up finish in Stroud.
You're exactly the same.
Heath is hopeful of becoming a U.S. representative for the Olympics, a longtime teammate of mine.
I should have communicated even
The
closer where I wanted
Sarnia-born
to use this rock
Heath
for a second.
McCormick, the dual citizen.
Yeah, he's actually born in the U.S., but grew up in Oil City and spent his entire life there.
Detail. Hard!
This rock's really moving off the line here, Paul.
Oh!
Good shot.
Really good.
He's actually took a wee turn.
It's a little bit more of what we were expecting at the start of this game is, shot after shot being made, so it's a little bit more of a chess game.
Yeah, I think Pierce might have eaten his microphone. He did suggest before the game he was a little bit hungry, and he's not overly fussy on what he puts in his mouth, so
Yeah! Real hard!
there it is. It's just kicking
Whoa,
in now.
whoa, whoa! Whoa! Yep! Whoa! More.
Love a little roll behind the center if they can, bring play away from that center guard. Or corner guard, sorry. And
Good call
great
there,
shot.
Paul. Very good call and well executed, Stone. Only problem is they might have set up a little double and roll in behind that corner guard. They just needed probably a half rock roll last, but really good shot. They seem to be figuring out the ice conditions.
Yeah, totally. And really, the blank could be in play here. If they make this double and roll, which we've seen these guys make a lot, then it'll be pretty close to the corner guard. And I think you'll see Brent just go for that double takeout. And if they get that, it's cleaned up. I may have jinxed him. He sticks behind there. That's a pretty good miss. They're hoping for the back one, but
Yeah, it's a good shot because now they force Pierce to actually roll his rock onto the rings. If he was just to nose
Actually,
this, it
they
looks
would
like he
prefer
might
that.
be outside of the rings. So. It's good to hear David laughing as opposed to swearing.
Sorry. Give it a little.
For our viewers
give it a
at
little
home,
wide.
it doesn't really bother me any.
That's nice. Someone's like, you click that and you're sitting there.
it's a little different of a TV game for these guys because the cameras are up on the ceiling, so it's we don't have that constant reminder of the viewership at home for them. Making no apologies for the language. I'm appalled as you may be.
And I'm not adverse to having cameras or mirrors on my ceiling, so I understand what they're going through.
Brent Pierce with his first in the sixth end. Love to stick it right behind that corner guard. And I think he did just enough there. So
Yeah, that's a very good shot by Brent. Almost takes that blank end out of play. One shot, and this type of shot where you might see like Kevin Martin play, especially when he had Walchuk playing for him, or is the run back double he might try. I mean, it's not a very high percentage, but I mean Donnie made that shot quite a few times. Instead, Dave's chosen to try to go out and score two this end now by calling this shot.
we call that a force.
Yeah, which would be a force of two.
All right.
Line's looking really good on this one. They're just trying to get it around that corner and as much buried as they can.
That's going to rub.
I thought he was closer.
Really nice weight there by Tom. They just had to get on it a hair sooner for line. Now, I was following Twitter this morning, Paul, and early morning wake-up call for Team Jacobs, our current defending Brier champions, hoping to win their spot in the Olympic trials and the pre-trials. But they had the 6 a.m. wake-up call to pee into the cup, something that was not around in curling when I threw stones. But can you explain a little bit to our viewers what's going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll let Brent finish this up, and then we'll get into the drug testing scenarios. So Brent with the intern tail, trying to stick as shooters as he can, but not that big. Just make it go away is pretty okay here. Yeah, so Team Jacobs is one of our 8-carded athletes, and as a carded athlete in Canada, you can be drug tested every time. What people don't know is the one sort of I don't want to say hindrance to getting that cash, but they have to allow the CCES, so the Canadian Centre for Ethics in Sport, a daily log of where they're going to be, and they have to declare an hour of each day in the year when they can be tested. So a lot of those athletes will say between 6 and 7 a.m. and where they're going to be. So they declared the gym today, and the testers showed up at the gym. And it's just part of the game when you're carted.
So if they showed up at the gym, I assume they found Ryan, and EJ working out, and they must have tracked down Brad in the sauna.
Yeah, we'll stop there for a game because Tom Brewster with an end changer there, just a hit and roll, and a perfect hit and roll behind the corner guard, forcing Sean Gill into the intern freeze.
Yeah, as often happens in our broadcast, we get lost in our own thoughts and ignored what was a great curling shot there by Tom.
No. Oh, no. That's so far here.
Brad Jacobs texting me to thank me for that deflection.
Yes. Brad's been known to do most of his working out in the sauna. That's why he's not quite as fit as EJ and Ryan, but nobody else in the curling world is either. But he does, you'll notice, have a fairly thick right forearm.
Should have been there all day for fun.
Oh, it just sat right in the oil. It's the oil.
Anyway, doesn't matter now.
Tommy showing his knowledge of David's language.
Nah, yours is there.
So intern freeze here for Sean Gale's first one in the 6th end. And anywhere in front of the T line behind that corner is a good play. Sean's body language is not saying it's made.
Looking a little slick.
All right.
Just good enough there. Looks like red is shot. David not even worrying about those two rocks, just going to go for the freeze himself. Or the full draw behind the corner.
I think our viewers were spared quite a bit of profanity there by that rock stop and 4-shot rock. We might have heard Brent let us know how he really feels. Sort of key that stop for shot, because like you say, Dave can't really go down and follow that, because if he does, then it's very easy for Sean to then follow him and force him to one. So
they kind of get us out, you know.
I would say they're trying to just bury this rock, at least half buried in the front of the tee line here, to hope to score their two.
Yeah, Dave is going to try to get the skip deuce here. But you make a huge point. That slides another inch, and the 3 ball's in play here.
Yeah, they'd be playing the same shot, only the reward is 3 as opposed to just a deuce.
So sweepers liking this out of the hand. Tommy Brewster calling them on for line. We'll see this come into the house. Murdoch saying room. We have seen a couple over curl here. Trying to keep it above the tee line if at all possible. And did just what Pete was saying. I mean, yellow's sitting 2 arguably right now, but opens up the force situation, or even a possible steal. So letting Team Gill or Team Pierce off the hook here.
Like his way, you know.
Yeah, he definitely slid a little deeper there than what he was hoping. We've just been informed, Paul, by our producer, that our 3 p.m. game today, for those who want to tune in, is Kevin Cooey against Rob Fowler. I'll do my best not to comment on Rob's hair looking like a chia pet.
So one of our Olympic trials teams versus one of our Olympic pre-trials teams in Fowler. So Cooey versus Fowler at 3 p.m. Pass the word along on any social media channels you'd like.
Please feel free, anyone, to send in updates of Russian Kate in Winnipeg. The private investigator I've hired seems to have lost track of her.
So Team Pierce here with Sean Gale's last rock in the 6th end, is trying the intern freeze into those yellow rocks.
Whoa, guys, whoa, no line! No line! Whoa, no line.
Gotta be really careful here where they
Yeah,
end
hard,
up.
hard, hard, go, 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 go! Okay, good.
It's a good shot.
So just there, you know.
Barely, eh, Paul?
Yeah, they might see enough
got
of this to play some sort of backline board weight and try for 2 or 3.
I think so. I don't know for sure, though. I think so.
It's one of those ones where they're sweeping early and it's just straightens it up. They can be really careful on ice like this. It's really sensitive to sweeping to really manage that sweep.
So go if we can get nose, like.
You can get nose here.
Yeah,
Brent.
I can get nose.
They're good.
You need nose. You can get to nose.
Right now, I think my 8's straight.
No, it's not enough. Well, a little bit
You
straight.
need nose, and then this was straight too.
Yeah. His was straight last time too, though. Like his didn't do nothing either.
Is it worth losing one over? Sixth end, peels off.
Just playing around with some camera angles here, seeing what our options are. So here we go. Here's a great look at what we're seeing. And what's underneath the Murdoch sign at the top of the screen there is that one guard that's coming into play here. So the discussion is, if they can play something a quiet way to try to remove both reds, with the key one being removed is the one touching the forefoot.
Yeah, I mean, they're talking they need to get to the nose of that stone. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do so, but looks like they might be giving it a go here, Paul.
I think they have to. The ice is going to give them a little bit of concern here, but they got to be really careful on just how they sweep this, when and how, and just manage it properly. And I think the shot's totally there.
No,
almost reminds me of the shot that Brewster had, albeit on the opposite side. And Tom had a shot with the outturn to win the 2012 World Championship against Glenn Howard. He could see about this much of the stone, and he had to curl across the face and make it, and he was just a hair heavy. And Glenn went on to draw the forefoot and win that championship, his fourth World Championship in 4 different decades. Something that will never be done again, I don't think, in curling.
Oh, no. We need power.
They're still not convinced, Paul.
No, and Dave, just take another look at it from the hack down the other end, just to see how he likes it.
Give us a.
And I think they're going for it. So, in-turn hit for Dave Murdoch, his last here. Hammer in the 6th end, trying to get a 2 or 3 point score. Chucking the bomb. It's coming hard off that line.
Wow, it gets started early.
Run! Oh, you fucking bitch.
That could be the highlight of my broadcasting career right there.
Okay, so
I believe he said it picked.
Yeah, well, it might have picked. We saw that coming out of his hand really hard at the start, so it might have been one of those ones where he just sort of turned it in a bit and brought the sweepers into play, but narrowly missing a great opportunity to score 3. A 1 point steal here for Team Pierce, taking a 4-2 advantage into the last 2 ends of this game.
I think we're going to have to triple the fine on that one due to volume and content. I believe he owes us each 1 case of beer. In fairness, for our viewers out there, it's really the only sport that you'll see where guys are mic'd and it's live. Like the NFL, they'll wire up the quarterbacks and everything like that, but it's not like they're playing their thoughts live. They will edit content and then play the content later. This is curling played at a professional level for a lot of money, a lot of points, and emotions can get the better of guys, but David's very used to playing on live TV, but this is more of a simulcast, so he's probably not being as careful with his words or actions, but trust me, he's a very professional individual, and he's probably just letting his emotions get the better of him right now.
Understood. They're again, like I said, it's kind of that odd TV game. We don't hear this much out of them at a World Championship or Briar, simply because I think the cameras are there. So I'm not trying to make apologies for Dave, but sometimes that gives you that insight of how to react out there. So 4-2 game here after 6 ends. Brent Pierce taking the 2 point advantage into the last 2 ends. Just got to play fairly conservatively here. He can even give up 2 in this point in this end and take Hammer into the 8th and have a great chance of winning.
There is actually a situation, Paul. I'm not sure if you heard about this one last week in Portage, where the and I won't mention any names, but the team that lost the final, one of the players on the team had a mild outburst and smashed his broom, but actually smashed it onto an opponent's broom and broke the opponent's brush as opposed to their own. That's something, it's pretty rare display of emotion to do that.
I mean, one of the historic broken brooms in our sport is the full 8-ender wooden handle by Johnny Morris I think it was at the Calgary Briar. Or no, he was playing with Kevin at that point.
It was in the Hamilton Briar.
It was phenomenal to watch him. It's one of those points where he was playing fairly badly and relative to what he was looking for. Broke the broom, quietly put it in the penalty box, went on and shot 90 for the last part of the game. I slightly injured myself after that trying to recreate the situation. And,
it's not as
almost
easy.
broke my femur.
Not as easy to snap those brooms as it looks.
Great start to this game by Mark Olson, 2 in the 4-foot, taking the play there, and Team Murdoch gonna bring it on. Tom Brewster now taking the helm for. Nope. I think it is Tom Brewster taking the helm.
I think David
for Team
actually has
Murdoch.
gone to an ATM to try to get enough money to pay his swearing fines.
Small top.
So it looks like David Murdoch just took a bathroom break. You cannot change the lineup mid-end.
Tell him hot.
Hope he washed his hands. It's very important. Got to be well sanitized. Paul, we have a shout out for our former 1995 gold medal winning teammate Brad Savage at Haysievich. Go Hawks, hashtag hitchhiker, hashtag fannies. One of the all-time stories for curling at the university level that we will not bore our viewers with.
Scott Andrews being asked for the halfway takeout there, and again just trying to move stuff around. Did a pretty good job. Overcurled a little bit, but they'll be happy with the rocks in play.
Yeah, the key there is to keep that yellow stone in the rings. Being an experienced player, Brent feels it's very hard for teams now just to score multiple ends playing inside the rings without guard, so he's going to go up and peel the guard. Pretty funny here. They're going to play this with the outturn across the face, which suggests to me that in-turn off the line is not something they're comfortable with.
So
it's a good result there. I think a little more panic than we needed to hear.
Well,
he did make the peel.
I think it was the outturn there, so we were just getting caught up in some technology here.
I was
Yeah, he was playing the outturn peel.
Across the top.
Yeah, I mean...
Busting it European style. I like it. Yeah, so just got a little inside that one, but did the job. So we'll play a little cat and mouse here with a few corner guards and peels, and then we'll see them go into the house probably on thirds last. Pretty good setup for Team Pierce.
Skull, my guys, we're way out there.
Yeah, being 2 up right now with no guards in play, you're pretty comfortable if you're Pierce. At some point in time, Paul, do you feel that maybe Murdoch might have to switch strategy instead of go for the deuce, maybe look to blank and score in the 8th?
And this might be that point where this guard slips into the house. Brent Pierce not expecting the top 4-foot draw. Just look at clean this up. Nose hit here, a little bit of roll here for Sebastian Robillard.
If he can make this shot, I'm not so sure he cares if he kills his own back red here, provided that he gets the yellow out of play.
So we saw this in-turn curling a lot. We'll see what this out-turn does.
Yep.
Oh, it's great.
Hard. Go, punch it over, punch it over. Okay, I'll start.
That's a good shot.
Reds are setting up a little better for Murdoch now. So he'll still play the corner guard game here. They got some pretty good angles over there now with probably used with Brewster's rocks later on.
Key here is he really just does not want to be forced. He's hoping obviously to score a multiple point end, which is looking a little bit slim right now, although it's early. Or he does have a possibility of a double and roll to bring a blank end into play.
Yep,
so.
yep, go now. I don't know. I don't mind that, that's fine.
The corner didn't get over as far as they wanted, so if Brent really wanted to run the play around with the one in the house, he's got that option.
He's definitely created an angle for the double, and for your club curlers at home, like they could obviously go around and
top it.
Pierce could hit the open yellow one in line 4, but the real trouble stone on this end is this corner guard. So as much as Brent would like to remove both, the key here is to get that guard out of play, roll the shooter away, and then the bonus would be to get the one in the rings. Something Mark Kennedy for about 5 years now has just been making these kind of shots for fun.
Yeah, Mark makes it look stupid easy actually, but he's just that good.
He is that good. Probably the best second of all time, and that's with apologies to a guy like Scott Pfeiffer, who's been amazing.
backed up all the way. Holy.
So he made that shot. Brent was trying to, throw the intern straight at that and come off the inside of it, but it just ran straight, much like Tom Brewster's in that 2 ends ago.
Yeah,
and again, bring that guard in play. The lucky thing for him is he did get rid of that yellow in the house, so that was a little bonus there on a missed shot.
Yeah, very fortunate to kill that one, but I don't think he's too happy. He's left that red stone. By the end of this end, I would think that rock will definitely come into play.
Tom Brewster being asked to make a play on these red rocks here.
And Tom's brother used to play on his team. Is it possible? I know his mom used to coach.
Well, we'll ask for some insight from the viewership. Again, at XL Purple Sweater.
Lions gate!
Or at curling_coach. You know anything about the Brewster lineage in curling? If you could send that in, that'd be great.
Or the whereabouts of Russian Kate.
Trying to, some sort of freeze even tap here would be great. They got to get in front.
It's funny, when I mentioned Russian Kate, you immediately came up with the word tap.
Yeah?
It's just amazing how quick you are. So a slight miss out of Tom Brewster there. It would have been great to fully freeze that or even tap it. That was sort of the range there. Just with this ice conditions, not a given. Brent Pierce going to totally ignore it.
Ooh, I like this call. I like this call.
We just mentioned Mark Kennedy. This is a shot you'd see being asked of him. So the intern
he's going to play the slash.
Heel slash, pick the one off, and look after all his concerns.
The big thing here is even if Paul was to hit it, say, too thin and just make the straight peel, it's still a very tough situation for yellow to score two based on where those rocks are in the rings. So he's talking about switching it to that call. I like his first call. Don't you like the first call, the slash?
I don't think it kills him. The only thing about leaving that yellow, if he does miss it, then if they ever tap that yellow to a freeze.
Can we jam it?
Yes, you can jam it. But,
earlier in the game, I don't think they would have been capable because they wouldn't have been close enough. But I think in this situation, they could definitely jam.
Yeah, Brent's been a great hitter all his career, so I don't think this is going to be a concern. The only thing that might get in his head here is just the ice conditions today that they're trying to figure out.
Yeah, he's been a great player his whole career. I mean, very, very enthusiastic about his curling, and he's had great results to show for it.
2000 world champion Brent Pierce with his last here in the 7th end. Just trying to remove that rock, get rid of it. Try to leave the reds if you can, just a pick, and making it look easy. Tom Brewster being asked for the same type of shot he was looking for last end, just a little heavier on the weight call for him.
That's why I don't know if I like that call, because Tom's just throwing this. You'd like to think he's got a really good chance of making it on his second attempt. If he does, it's going to be tough to remove his yellow stone. Plus, they still have that red guard up there. I'm not so sure I didn't like the slash.
Oh, yeah.
Then again, I'm back here drinking Budweiser, 12:30 in the afternoon, commenting on a curling game. So
in Brooks, Alberta, flown in from Ontario, Pete Stetsky, guest commentator for the Cactus Pheasant Classic.
Whoa. We've got the roll anyway.
That's a very good shot. Really good shot.
Great shot by Tom. Again, just like you're saying, Pete, giving a guy a second opportunity to make that. These guys don't usually miss that 2 times in a row.
I found, I could make any shot given enough attempts. Usually it was 6 or 7.
You really got to throw it.
I always felt you were best in that response when you played with 3. Right? You were playing the first 3 rocks because that third rock was always
the third rock's going to be close.
I was always concerned when we had the full slate and you only could throw 2 to get warmed up. Thank God Savage was there with the family tree that he has.
We're second,
man. Yeah, you would have figured more talent would have trickled down to Brad, coming from Hall of Famer Paul, but they're checking it out to see if red is lying 2 or just 1. For all the years I curled, Paul, I have never measured a curling stone in my life. Not once.
You're that guy, eh?
I just can't do it. I'm not that mechanically inclined. I was always afraid to burn the stone, so I'd rather leave the onus up to somebody else.
What turn do you like? This is a nice turn, I think. Either one you can throw. I don't care which one. This one's going to go real straight.
wins a lot of games, eh?
Aye. Yeah.
Check he's doing here, just flattering.
Sammy Brewster's making a point on Laycock's game going on. Steve Laycock, one of our pre-trials teams. Must have been looking like he's winning his game right now, or already shook.
Very good team out of Saskatchewan. Some leftovers from the Ben Hebert and Pat Simmons days from Saskatchewan.
High and squatting that one to the other one.
No. I think it's going that far to be honest.
Sean Gill with his first. I think they're just looking for the nose hit now, not liking the angles for the removing everything.
Yep. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Trying to nose and keep the freeze if they can.
Okay.
They're trying for a slight roll in there. Yellow is sitting second, which is Brent's concern.
Yeah, it was almost an absolutely perfect shot. Needed to curl maybe another inch
Even if
or two.
we actually don't even need to be on the inside. We can be straight in front.
Snaking down there, man.
You
That's
find
all right,
that
bud. You're getting one of theirs out, right?
I get size a hair low.
you can get a
Yeah,
catch
but
here.
Bud, where are they going to put a rock where you don't have a shot?
No.
Yeah, you can't miss that one.
Here either way, to be honest.
It's going. Like, no,
Yeah.
no matter how fit it is, you can take
Yeah. Not bad.
No, that,
The concern right now for Murdoch and the pep talk that Brent's giving back there is just where to put this yellow. If they fully freeze, there might be a play in that red one that Sean just threw. You might be able to chuck heat in there and maybe remove both yellows. I'm not sure if it's that easy. But David, really the only shot Dave has here is the freeze. He could look at a little hit and roll.
You would have been pissed off too.
Yeah, the problem with the roll is it brings in that shot that you just mentioned. It brings it in play, makes it almost easier because it flattens out the angle a bit. So.
It's a Greg's size, as long as we stay in the forefoot.
I'd be willing to bet the blank is probably out of play at this point. A little crazier things have happened.
Those who don't know, Pete does have a PhD in curling statistics, so
And mathematics, as well as Twitter.
So you can see the amount of curl here is not as expected at the start of this game. We're just taking edge of 4 to make this freeze. Looks like they're tapping it a bit, actually. They're
Yeah, he mentioned they wanted to stay in the forefoot, which suggested he was definitely going to make a play to bump this stone. I think he was trying to maybe lie 2.
Jesus. What was sweat for?
That ended up probably in about the worst spot it could end up, Paul. I think there's a double
Sean's
there
gonna
on those
throw a
yellows.
heater at this thing.
What's sweet for?
The only thing is that we're losing.
Didn't need
Well,
to
we're losing
man.
everything.
on the I give it to them on regular
Yeah, you
ice
could.
conditions, but they're struggling with this so much. Like it wouldn't be
to
surprising
curl
if they over curled or threw it
Right,
straight
makes-
here. So
Yeah, you're right. Even on the last shot they threw there, they mentioned the ice is snaky, which suggests that they're having trouble reading it, sort of going back and forth on them. They can't get a clear read on it. But
said back 4, so I thought if we could just squat enough.
So Brent cleaning the path of the back of this house, looking for a
came
double
in
on the
and
yellows
got
here. At
two
least
dodges.
lie through. They might not remove the one on the yellow on the
dodges that were
forefoot, but
perfect.
if they could lie a few points here and put some pressure on Murdoch. Sean Gale with his last here in the 7th end.
Look at this now.
now switching it up, we're going to the
Audible.
I think it's a pretty good result. I mean, they only lie the 1, but
Tricky shot for
Almost
2
like,
here, knowing
for
the ice
sure.
conditions.
11,
But the shot is there. He just can't touch his yellow at the back.
this is last rock, actually.
Remember how
Yeah,
they kind of had you.
pretty disappointing result then, not to
Let's
lie
take a
too.
wee
Like
bit
you say,
more.
this is
I
tricky.
don't want the sweetness to hold
They
it.
should actually curl up in this spot. Death would be to over curl. Probably give up a steal of 2, if not 3 in the game.
Okay, just fight 11,
That
huh?
would have been awesome.
Can hit us to 11.
Oh, not even.
The shot was actually quite a bit easier for Pierce than what it looked.
So David Murdoch with his last shot here in the 7th end. Trying to manufacture a skips deuce here. In turn, quiet way takeout. Line's going to be extremely crucial.
Saying the weight's solid.
Whoa! Hard!
Really curling here. Can't touch that top red one.
Great shot.
And the world champion making it look Very easy. So 2 points for Murdoch, tying this game up, going into the final end here at the Cactus Pheasant Classic in Brooks, Alberta.
Good boys. Good guys.
Good shot. And no profanity.
Alright, long one, a short one.
Wait.
Aye, that was okay.
Sweet, guys.
Get a wee bit of air, because I thought I might curl in.
I know I moved it.
They get really the range you can push it in. Right? Shot, Dave.
Thanks, mate.
So Pete Stesky taking his 4th break of the game. Paul Webster here with you in the Cactus Pheasant Classic 7th annual here in Brooks, Alberta. Tie game, a back and forth battle here of some key makes, but more misses than we were expecting out of these two teams as they're trying to get a hold of this ice. And Team Murdoch needing to steal in this final end here in this first round matchup. Brooks being a triple knockout event, so 24
easy,
teams,
guys, easy.
8 qualifiers.
Easy, you're over. You're definitely over.
It's the second draw of this event. It's a 6-sheet
Definitely
curling
over.
club.
You're definitely over.
Looking for the high shot. It's a little slightly deeper than they're looking for, but in play. Brent Pierce opting for the come around versus the tick that a number of our leads have made famous. Mark Olson with his first of the 8th end. Out-turn come around.
Yep, clean it!
Brent Pierce encouraging his team to keep a brush down. Don't want to slip behind the tee line in this situation, which is exactly what he did here. He'll have a chance here to get another one in there because Dave will throw the second center.
Sorry, I just got an update there, Paul, from that Laycock game that we were talking about. He actually dropped 4 in the 6th end, up 3. Dropped 4, go down 6-5. As we mentioned, he is one of the top teams, but we said top teams out of Saskatchewan. You know, it's not Alberta or Ontario or anything.
Yep!
Just give you an update of the other games that are going on as we throw some lead rocks here.
All right, guys! Real hard line!
John Morris is actually down 4-1.
Hard line, go, real hard!
Soo-Yuk Kim from Korea.
I can guarantee you John's never lost to them before.
Oh, that was perfect. How about you, Scott?
See the broom slam from Scotland there. It's boys have been struggling with the ice here all day, and that's a routine shot for Scott Andrews and Team Scotland, and just over curled a little bit, and making it a little bit easier on Pierce here to get some double peels.
The McEwen game is over. McEwen was able to knock off the Swedish junior team. I didn't know Sweden had 12 curlers, but they do. And Gustav Eskilsson was defeated by Mike McEwen. And in the China game, we have Botcher taking on Team China. That is tied heading to the 8th end at 3-3. Kevin Martin was easily able to handle Lloyd Hill in his opening round matchup.
Mark Olson making a slightly better shot. Again, they would have liked that a little higher, just biting the forefoot. Brings into play just a little tap back here for Murdoch. You'll see Brent Pierce go up and double peel that, and then we'll be. So it's a key shot actually. It's early on the end, but a key shot here for Team Murdoch.
You're so right on that first one, Paul. Though the slip behind the tee line there is it's crucial that you had to have that rock somewhere in the top 4.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. No. Tom only, guys. Tom only. Tom only.
Oh, needs a curl, needs a curl.
They don't have to be shot here. They're just trying
In there.
to get some options. So that's a
Okay,
great shot by
okay.
Drummond.
Some interesting sweeping was going on there. Not so sure that was allowed in my day.
Something going on.
3/4.
Few more guards and see what happens after that.
You just need one break on this guard more. Need for him to miss this one. The double.
Yep.
Oh, that looks sweet.
So intern double peel here for Sebastian Roble. A really good chance to clean up this end for his team.
Great
And,
shot there by Seb, eh?
Doesn't miss it. That's a key shot of this end.
Oddsmakers took a beating on that one, I think.
So it'll be a little cat and mouse game now, but again, you can see those red rocks for Team Pierce not being the ideal location, just a couple slight misses by the lead. And I think we'll see those come into play in about 7-8 rocks. We'll play the center guard peel game for a few here, unless they slip it into the rings.
Oh, two only. Skull only, guys. Oh, no. Oh, that's flying.
Sparks getting a little closer to the rings than what they were hoping for.
Okay.
Really unfortunate there. It just just allows Brent, if he wants to play around with that stuff in the house, to do that. It looks like he might just go for the straight peel, but just 2 or 3 feet over the hog line is a great shot here, and doesn't allow the other team to mess around with those runs in the house.
Whoa!
They continually choose to play the cross face on these shots.
Yeah, they're rocking a European style, and that's why.
It's a great shot there. That's potentially a game ender, really.
So,
Forefoot is now wide open.
Great shot.
It just gives you an idea of just those guards. You can't take them for granted, right? So Greg Drummond slipping arguably 10, 12 feet heavy and getting close to rings, and Sebastian Robillard not missing the opportunity to arguably win the end for his team.
Yeah, a couple great doubles there by Sebastian. Speaking about the guards, I think that's where I've never been a big believer in this numbers system, but the one thing I do think it applies in is guards, because so often a player getting the hack and they'll just think I'm throwing a guard. Well, you've got about, 18 feet to work with. To really focus on those zones, the 1, the 2, or the 3, is crucial in a shot like that, and they definitely needed a 1 or a 2, and they got a really tight 3.
Yeah, Team Furby, of course, no one really disagreed with that when Furby won 5 briars, but I agree with you. The accountability factor for either our shooters or teammates is key in that sort of situation.
Quick path, eh?
Quick path. It's nice to see they're picking up on that in the 8th end.
One of the key things of our skips, just trying to keep, an outlook. Murdoch's still trying to figure out how to win this. He knows the odds aren't on his side right now to win this game based on the rock placement, but one slight miss from Team Pierce, and we've had numerous misses in this game based on the conditions that are out there right now, and they just got to stick with it. We've still got a few rocks left.
Yeah, they're still in a situation where they can force Pierce to draw maybe piece of the forefoot to win the game.
Easy. Whoa!
Brent Pierce wanting the sweepers to stop sweeping. Looking for the double, just misses it.
Yeah, good shot.
So we have a tie game here in the final end. Pierce versus Murdoch. First round here in the
2 ends in a row. I hit my
Cactus Pheasant Classic here in Brooks, Alberta. Murdoch playing the Yellowstones, Pierce with the red, and Pierce has hammer in this final end. David asking former skip Tom Brewster for the interim freeze, bringing the play into the house and trying to use whatever he's got left over there.
Yeah, if he makes this perfectly, he's hoping that he forces Pierce to maybe
I clipped my foot 2 times.
splash both of them. And then they'll go around the corner, which Pierce will peel the corner, and they'll split the rings and force him to draw against 2. That's the best you can hope for if you're Team Murdoch right now.
Tom Brewster has shown how easy this draw can be.
That's a great shot by Tom.
And again, a really good example just how important those sweepers are. So we saw them heavily involved in that shot, and that's how we're going to have to make them. So, a fairly routine hit here for Pierce, and they're looking for some sort of miss out of them. Team Murdoch is, if they can get some advantage.
I don't want to jinx anybody. Earlier in the game, that guard's in play right now, I got to tell you. They've cleaned it up a bit. But I'm just saying, for those who like to place a bet, we'll give you 11-1 on the guard right now.
Pete Sesky being the fortune teller that
Wow!
he is. Now, what he didn't say was they actually didn't touch the guard. But we had a shot, an intern, very similar intern, running down the other way for Tom Brewster about 3 ends ago, and ran that same way. So just seeing that up weight.
I'm telling you, Paul, I think I've played way too much club curling over the past years because I can just see these things coming before they happen. That was pretty filthy.
Well, that's the miss Murdoch needed out of these guys just to put some pressure on. He still doesn't have it. It's still mathematically favoring Team Pierce here, but definitely you get that little thought in your back of your mind that the advantage is on your side.
Yeah, the ironic thing is it doesn't necessarily change too much what fourth thrower Sean Gill is going to have to do on his last rock. But optically and emotionally, it changes the end by quite a bit.
Line's good, just get the weight right.
And David just going for the guard here, going to play that cat and mouse game.
Go low, guys. Come on.
And then you'll see him
go.
on his second one.
Go.
Into
Keep
the house.
Keep going. Okay.
Well executed guard there.
Good.
Yeah, so opportunity for Murdoch now to at least get some rocks in play. Pierce can't ignore that.
Oh, that's fine.
At least I don't believe he can.
Yeah, you know what?
Well, if he moves it back,
I don't want to say this to be disrespectful to them, but any team that throws a come around on this shot here, I think you're afraid to throw your last rock.
That's a pretty tough shot.
The shot here is to throw the peel.
a pretty tough shot. He's got to make that shot.
And worst case scenario, you're going to have to draw maybe full 4 foot to win the game. I disagree trying to beat them in early because
just full.
a mistake and you might not have a shot on your last
Well,
one.
we're not going to throw.
I can guarantee if it was Jeff Stoughton, Glenn Howard, Wayne Murdoch, Cooey, the rock's already been peeled off.
100%. They would have. They just know it's that cat and mouse game. They know what they're actually mentally preparing for that last shot because they know it's going to be probably a draw of the 4 foot. Because in my mind, it would have been a quick peel, and then Murdoch's trying to throw about that same line, but just biting the half on 4 foot, half off, so they can't hit and be shot, and force them to the draw. And
you're going to have a wide open out turn draw.
We talked about this earlier, Pete. You know what's going to happen is Sean is going to make this perfect.
Yep, and then learn nothing.
Yeah.
And prove that we know very little in this booth.
Which is why we're in the booth.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I feel like I've hardly sweat. Unlike last week. It was fucked off the first game.
So first shot of this 8th end for Sean Gill. Trying to put this in the top 4 foot for pretty much for the win if he makes this one. Not trying to open the door for Murdoch.
Not loving the fact that the sweepers can barely keep up with this stone trying to walk right now.
How's that go, Tom?
They're trying to keep this just above the tee line.
How's that
They
go?
can.
This is
And
not
again-
the type of commentary you're going to get from TSM, but that's very low caliber there, and it's a bad call and it's bad execution, and it could cost them the game.
Again, 4 shots ago, we did not expect that Team Murdoch was going to have a chance. Sebastian Robillard doing a great job for Team Pierce, cleaning up and really making it a given that they're going to have a shot to win the game. Brent Pierce with a slight miss on his last one, and then a questionable call on the first one, Sean Gill, and then a miss on that questionable call has opened up the door for Dave Murdoch to really put the pressure on Sean. So instead of a draw to the 4 foot that he would have had, it's more than likely going to be a draw to the pin or a tap back for his 1 point. So
It is very unusual that you would have Sebastian step up. He absolutely rips 2 double peels to essentially end the game or leave you in the best possible shape, and now you're going to be faced with this. Wasn't much upside to playing that come around there for Team Pierce.
So Dave Murdoch, just having thrown the guard here, can sort of get a sense of the weight.
Go only, guys! Lots of room!
I mean, David always knew he was going to have to throw this shot. He just didn't know he was going to be throwing it underneath cover to lie 2.
Go only!
Really great opportunity for Team Murdoch to put the pressure on Team Giel here.
Need this rock to curl. Ends up in a pretty decent spot. I think he's now forced him to play the double.
I know it's good. Knows it's not easy, but I know it's good.
Actually, yeah, they did bring it in.
Back line.
Just a little heavy out of Murdoch's hand. Again, one of those ones that we see
Well, you gotta have a little bit more than
consistently
that
throughout
to
this
us.
game
That's
that will
enough.
remain straight if it's just pure draw weight. So one of those, he would love to see those sweepers, sweeping it down the last 20, 25 feet into position, and really they would have had it fully buried. So instead, still not an easy shot for Sean with his last one here, but an opportunity to make the double and win the game for his team.
That's it.
Looks like they're going to
How
go
you
with
like that, Sean?
backline weight.
Back line.
Yeah, nose hit wins it, right? The double's just a
problem-
flashy bonus here.
If he hits it just a hair high with backline, I believe he will jam and yellow will be shot rock and score the winning point. You got to be a little careful.
Yep.
there.
Last shot of this game, Sean Giel with the game in his hand.
Whoa! 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 Whoa!
By the sounds of it, he's got the shot
Clean!
made.
Clean! Whoa! 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 Clean! 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 It's good.
That's a great shot.
1 point for Team Pierce and the win against world bronze medalist, Team Murdoch. So Murdoch going down to the B side, Sean Giel staying on the A side after their first game here in Brooks, Alberta. Tune in at 3 p.m. for Cooey versus Fowler, and we'll be back on the Curling Zone channel. But congratulations to Team Pierce for winning that battle.
Paul, it was a pleasure. Look forward to working with you for the next game.
Yeah, thank you, Pete. Again, on
Rolling with the
behalf
heart.
of the Cactus Pheasant Classic in Brooks, Alberta, it's Paul Webster with Pete Stetsky, and we'll talk to you soon.